All right, welcome back, folks. Professor Almeida here, and in this video, I want to walk you through the project I assigned for PowerPoint Module 1, also called PowerPoint 1 Project. Coming up, you're going to learn how to create and edit presentations in PowerPoint. Now, if you don't know how SAM projects work, go back and watch the walkthrough video I put together for the Word Module 1 project. I take you through from start to finish. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. So you can see that I am in Canvas. As before, make sure that you go through your SAM training for PowerPoint Module 1. Here's the direct link for the PowerPoint 1 project. You can go ahead and click on the link. And do remember that you have access to the ebook at any time. Here is PowerPoint Module 1, creating and editing presentations with pictures. And here are the objectives for this chapter. So a lot of things you're going to see here, you've seen it before when we went through Word. There will be some new things, of course, and some of the skills that you will learn in the next few chapters, some of them you can take with you back into Word as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get all set up here. And as before, if you need a break, you do have the pause button. So make sure to grab the instruction file, your start file, and this support file. I'll see you on the other side. All right, so I'm back and I have been playing around with this project. There are some gotchas here, and if you're watching from the future, hopefully Cengage will address some of the things, but let's see what happens as we go through this walkthrough. All right, so with your files downloaded, we can go ahead and put away SAM for now. I'm going to go ahead and create a copy of the start file by right-clicking on the start file, choosing copy. I'll click on this empty space here, right-click, paste, and then we'll right-click, rename. Change that 1 at the end to a 2. Be careful that you don't accidentally put in extra spaces or anything else after the 2. Make sure there's nothing after it. And we'll go ahead and launch the instructions and our start file. So here's our start file with the 2 at the end. And from here, we'll go ahead and enable editing. So where it says protected view in this gold bar or yellow bar, depending on your office theme, click on enable editing. And this is PowerPoint. So just like with Word, in the upper left, you have your quick access toolbar. You have your title bar indicating what your file is called and where it's saved. You have your search bar, your Microsoft account, your minimize, maximize, and close buttons. Here is your ribbon. This is your main presentation area here, so you can see your slides. This is what's called normal view. And in normal view, you have thumbnails or previews of your different slides in the navigation pane. And then at the bottom, you have your status bar with the different view options. We'll talk about slide sorter view later on in this presentation, and you have the zoom slider. So this should be familiar if you're coming from Word, and some of the things that we're going to be doing in here are just like in Word. And if you notice right away, Home tab clipboard group is the same. You still have the font and paragraph groups. Maybe some things are moved around, but again, you should feel right at home. And as I mentioned before, if you're not sure what to do with getting started, go back and watch my project walkthrough on the Word 1 project. And if you're ready, I'll see you on the other side. All right, step 1. You are collaborating with the marketing director at Fairview Management to create a presentation that communicates an overview of the company's social media strategy to upper management. Start by formatting the presentation as follows. Now, before we continue, I strongly recommend that you go through the different ribbon tabs so that you become familiar with where things are. Okay, so again, give yourself some time to become familiar with things. Now, to change the theme colors, as they're telling you here in part A, change the theme colors to green to match company branding. In the Design tab Themes group, you'll see there are a number of different themes to choose from. And within each theme, you have different variants, right? These variants include different color palettes, but we can further customize things by expanding the variants menu here. And you'll see colors. And one of your options is green. And that takes care of part 1A. Part B on the title slide, Fairview Management. Resize the picture to 13.33 inches wide so that it covers the entire width of the slide. If we click on the picture, you'll see the Picture Format tab. This is exactly the same from Word. And in the size group, we're going to change the width to 13.33 inches. So I'll go ahead, type 13.33 inches. We'll hit enter, and there you go. Let's make sure to save, and then we'll go ahead and move on to step 2. Step 2, on slide 2, why social media, edit the bulleted list as follows. Change the font size of the words why social media to 36 point. So here we are in slide 2, right? I could just click on slide 2 in the thumbnail. And you know what? Let me go ahead and adjust the zoom here so we can see. So why social media? How do I select this? Well, this is an object as evidenced by the Shape Format tab. It's basically a text box, right? But I can select text using the same techniques I did in Word. Remember, you can double click to select a word, triple click to select a paragraph, and immediately you see the mini toolbar, and we can go ahead and adjust the font size to 36. Of course, you can use the Home tab font group, just like in Word, or better yet, you could also right click and there's the mini toolbar. So whatever works, that's 36-point font. On the titles, see, this is why you want to make sure to print out your instructions and have a checklist. See, I almost fell for that. 2B, bold the words every day to draw attention to them. Okay, so here's every day. Again, there's the mini toolbar. We can also use Control B to bold our text, as you can see here in the tooltip. Part C, delete the unnecessary text entire. So we'll go ahead and delete entire. And let's make sure to save. Moving right along to step 3, with slide 2 still displaying, enter the text, ask audience how they use social media in their private lives into the notes pane. So this is the notes pane down here where it says click to add notes. If you don't see it, click on notes in the status bar. And what this is your own personal cheat sheet. Let me go ahead and type out this sentence and I'll explain. Ask audience how they use social media in their private lives. Don't forget the period, otherwise you will be marked wrong on this step. So let me explain how this is your personal cheat sheet. Let's say that you are giving this talk, right? This is what your audience sees. Now, if you have the right equipment at your workstation, you will have what's called presenter view. And in presenter view, you'll see your current slide, a preview of the next slide, and here's your cheat sheet. So as you're talking about why social media and going through the bullet points, you have a prompt here to ask the audience how they use social media in their private lives. Remember, your audience is just going to see this, right? But if you have the right setup, you will have your notes here. Now, you could also print out a notes page. Let me show you here in Backstage View. If we go to print and where it says full page slides, we'll switch this over to notes page. And here it is. Here's your notes, right? So you can print out a notes page for yourself as well. And then that way you'll remember as you're going through your presentation. So I hope that you find this feature useful. So that takes care of step 3. All right, how are we doing, folks? Again, if you need a break, you do have that pause button. All right, moving right along. Step 4. On slide 3, what are our goals? Change the slide layout to picture with caption to adjust the readability of the slide. So again, let's make sure that we're alt-tabbing to the right place here. All right, so slide 3, what are our goals? And you can see that some of the text is hidden behind the picture. We can fix this. Okay, let's not worry about the graphics card. After all, I am in a virtual machine here. We can fix this layout, and to do that, we're in the Home tab Slides group, Slide Layout, and we'll switch this over. Let me take a look again. Picture with caption. Okay, so Home tab Slides group, Slide Layout, Picture with caption. Here you go. Now, don't worry about this here. Only change was being asked of you. Remember, with these projects, think of them as deliverables to your clients. Only change what's being asked so that you don't end up losing points. And that takes care of step 4. Step 5, let's insert a new slide 4 using the section header layout. And then from there, we'll enter and format text to focus the audience's attention. All right, so to add a new slide, 2 ways to do this: Home tab Slides group, new slide, or to insert a new slide. This is a recent addition here. Go into the Insert tab Slides group, new slide, same thing, right? And it's going to be section header. Now you're probably wondering, well, wait a minute, how's this different from the layout menu or slide layout menu? Let's say you create a new slide and then later on you change your mind about the layout. You can go in and use the slide layout menu to make that adjustment. All right, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, now we can continue here. Part A, enter measurement as the title. So where it says click to add title, easy enough. Measurement. Double check your typing. And then in part B, enter criteria for success in the click to add text box. Now here, you need to trust your typing. Because of the theme we're using, all of your text is going to show up as uppercase. Now, if you want to convince yourself, let's go to the Design tab Themes group, and I will hover over the Office theme, and there you can see criteria for success in the correct case. Right? So if you're not sure about your typing, go in the Design tab Themes group, just hover over one of the other themes, Office theme, and you should see how you typed it out. Okay, so you need to trust your typing on this one here. And then in part C, underline the word success. So I'll double click on success. Again, you can use the mini toolbar. You can use Control U, or in the Home tab font group, click on underline. Now here you need to be careful when it comes to accessibility. If you're distributing this PowerPoint presentation, you need to think about what your audience is going to see here with success and what they're going to think. Okay, and if you're thinking that this looks like a hyperlink, you are absolutely correct. So be careful when using the underline feature. All right, how are we doing, folks? Let's move on to step 6. Go to slide 5, and this is where I've been playing around with this project because there is an issue with step 6 here. And let me show you. If I go to slide 5, what is engaging content? Content that draws viewers in. Now, they're asking you in this step to italicize the text, draws viewers in. But for some reason, they have draws viewers in quotes. Okay, this is a typo, by the way, because if you go down to the final figure, you'll see in the final figure here, and if you zoom in, you just have to trust me on this, you'll see draws viewers in is italicized. Okay, so hopefully if you're watching this from the future, hopefully Cengage will address this here. Let's go ahead and adjust draws viewers in. And we'll go ahead and italicize the text. I'm going to use Control I. And moving right along. Step 7, with slide 5 still displaying, modify the bulleted list text as follows. So if we go down to the bulleted list here, there are 2 buttons we didn't really talk about in Word, but we're going to explore them here in PowerPoint. And that's in the Home tab paragraph group. You're going to see these 2 buttons, decrease list level and increase list level. In Word, it's called decrease indent and increase indent. This is useful when working with bulleted lists. Let's say, for example, you want to create subpoints, or maybe you need to promote subpoints so that they become main points. You'll see what I mean here in a moment. So let's take a look at part A. Increase the indent of stories by 1 level. So I'm already in the paragraph or the bullet point for stories. They're asking us to increase the indent, or in the case of PowerPoint here, it's called increase list level, Home tab paragraph group, right? Increase list level. It's pretty much the same thing, right? Increase indent if this were Word. And then in part B, decrease the indent of video by 1 level. So I'll click into video here, Home tab paragraph group, decrease list level. And if this were Word, it would be decrease indent. All right, let's make sure to save. And we'll go ahead and continue here. Step 8, remaining on slide 5, select all the text in the placeholder and then change the font color to green accent 1, darker 25%. So you can do this, right? You can do this to select all the text, or better yet, go to the border of the text box where you see this 4-headed arrow, click on the border so that becomes solid. This is effectively a select all. Now we can go to the Home tab font group, choose font color, and it's going to be green accent 1. Go down the column as I've shown you before, right? Lighter 80%. Lighter 60%, lighter 40%, darker 25%, which is what we want here. And then, of course, the last one is darker 50%. So darker 25%. Green accent 1, darker 25%. They do give you the hint, 5th row, 5th column. And you can see how all the text changed. Now, before completing step 12, the color displays as green. After completing step 12, the color displays as blue. So take a moment, make sure you get step 8 right. Otherwise, after completing step 12, it might be hard to go back and fix. And you certainly don't want to start over from the beginning. All right, let's go ahead. Whoops. Well, don't want to save that. Let's save our presentation here. There you go. All right, so how are we doing, folks? If you need a break, you do have that pause button. All right, moving right along. Let's continue. Step 9, let's go to slide 6. Who is our main audience? Here we go. Who is our main audience? Balance the visual elements in the slide as follows. Part A, apply bullets to the paragraph in the left content placeholder. So again, I will select all the content inside. And to apply bullets, Home tab paragraph group, choose bullets. We're going to go with the default here. Boom. Part B, use the right content placeholder to insert the file support underscore PowerPoint 365, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's this support file right here. Hopefully you had a chance to download this. So how do we insert this in the placeholder? Well, besides click to add text, you do have these buttons here. One of them is pictures. So we'll click on the pictures button from device, go to your downloads or wherever you saved your support file, choose your support file, click insert, and now PowerPoint is going to try to fit it into this placeholder here. Don't worry about this alt text, at least for this step. Part C, resize the picture height to 4 inches. We're in the picture format tab. Hopefully you know the drill by now. Go to the size group and we'll adjust the height. And you can see how I'm using the up or down arrows. We can adjust it that way. Or again, type 4 inches, just like that. And that takes care of step 9. Step 10, move slide 7 to become the last slide in the presentation. So how does that work? In normal view, we can click on slide 7, and while holding down the mouse button, we can drag slide 7 just like this, and slide 7 becomes the last slide, slide 8. Before we continue, let me tell you about slide sorter view here. So if we switch over to slide sorter view, let's say that instead of having 8 slides, maybe you have 28 slides. You get a bird's eye view of your entire presentation, and this is more for slide management. So of course you can move your slides around like this as well. So I just wanted to show you this. And of course they're going to tell you about slide sorter view a little bit later. But moving right along, step 11, check the spelling in the presentation to identify and correct any spelling errors, accept all suggested spelling changes. All right, so let's get back to the beginning of this presentation, and I'm going to use my good old friend Control Home. Remember in Word, Control Home took you to the top of the document. Well, in PowerPoint, it takes you to the beginning of your presentation. And of course, Control N takes you to the last slide. To check spelling, go to the Review tab, Proofing Group. Let's click Spelling, and we'll go ahead and change Engagement. And it says that the spell check is complete, but I'm not entirely convinced. Okay, and this might happen to you. So you know what? We're just going to keep going because I want to illustrate this issue. Again, I've been playing around with this particular project. But when in doubt, check your final figure, go through, look at the individual slides. Okay, because there may be more than one issue here. All right. So again, go back through, check on things, but stick with me here. We're just going to keep right on going. Okay. So again, I'm just walking you through this project from start to finish. This doesn't replace lectures. It doesn't replace going through the ebook. It doesn't replace going through your SAM training. You also want to carefully go through the project steps on your own. Okay, so just use this video for reference. Okay, so that's my disclaimer here. And moving right along, step 12, you decide to send the presentation to another colleague in the marketing department to review the branding. Change the theme to Office to simplify the design elements. Now, before you get to step 12, go back, double check things, especially with font colors. Make sure you get them correct. All right, go to the Design tab, Themes group. Let's change this to Office theme. And at this point, we want to go through slide sorter view here because in the next step, in slide sorter view, your presentation should look like the final figure on the following page. Save your changes, close the presentation, and exit PowerPoint. Follow the directions on the website to submit your completed project. Here's the final figure. Again, take a moment to double check. Make sure you save your work. If you're using OneDrive and you have autosave turned on, make sure that the changes sync. Close completely out of PowerPoint. Otherwise, your file won't be uploaded. Okay, and do go look in the Windows File Explorer, double check, make sure that your files have indeed synced. All right, here we are. We're back in SAM, and we'll go ahead and pause for a moment, and then we'll get the moment of truth. See you on the other side. Okay, let's go ahead and go through our attempts. Remember, you do get 3 attempts, but I'm in God mode here. I've been playing around with the project, seeing how things are graded, making mistakes so you don't have to. And with that, let's go ahead and grade this. All right, here we are back in PowerPoint 1 project. Let's go ahead and upload our project file. And it's thinking about it for a moment. There we go. Let's submit for grading. Now, your summary report is going to be a PowerPoint presentation, and your report is going to be the last slide. So here we go. I'm going to switch to normal view. And here we go, slide 9. Now it says that it's 85 out of 100. And let's go back and review things here. So step 2, on slide 2, the text "Why social media" should be formatted using a 36-point font. Now I do recall doing this. So we need to go back, reopen up our project file here. Okay, so let's go back and double check things. All right, so slide 2. Why social media? Oh, that's interesting. So here's something else to keep in mind. When you change themes, go back and double check things, okay? And especially if you're using pictures, because you might end up with a situation similar to what you were asked to change in the project, where text ends up being hidden behind pictures or pictures ending up in places you don't want. So this is something important. Before turning in your project, go back through the steps and make sure that things check out. Okay, so why social media? That has been addressed. And again, if you're watching from the future, hopefully Cengage catches on to this and they adjust the grading engine accordingly. Okay, so let's go to step 9, slide 6. The picture should be 4 inches high. Okay, I'm pretty sure I had it at 4 inches high, but you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look here. Nope, for some reason it's back to 3.78. All right, 4 inches, that's fixed. And then what else? Spell check. Oh, that's interesting. Channels and engagement. Well, the spell checker caught engagement, but channels was missed for some reason. And again, this might happen to you. I showed you this earlier where engagement was corrected, but not channels. You know what? We'll do a search here. Home tab, editing group, and we'll choose find and replace. Let's look for channels. And for some reason, this wasn't marked, right? This could happen. So in this case, we need to manually correct the spelling. And I believe that's all of it. You know what? Let's double check engagement. Nope, engagement's correct. So again, these things can and do happen, folks. And there you go. Let's go ahead and save the project again. Close out of PowerPoint completely, and let's go ahead and resubmit. And you know what? Let's go ahead and do this. Let's relaunch the assignment. Click on Start. All right, here you go. Moment of truth. All right, let's check out our graded summary report. So this is attempt number 3 for me because I saw these things happen with attempt number 1. And I figured, you know what, let me re-record this video just to show you what could happen. And here you go. 100 out of 100. So again, folks, these things can and do happen. Before you upload for grading, and this is why you do get 3 attempts, go back, double check on things, especially if you change themes, because the font size might end up changing to something else. So go back through, double check for things, and as you saw with the spell check, channels was missed entirely. And that does it for PowerPoint 1 project. I hope you do well. on your own project. I wish you the best of luck. And with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.